No, thank you. Sorry for disturbing.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So we can start with Parampagni Shyama Mataji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, dear Mataji. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So today is Putrada Ekadasi. This is the Putrada Ekadasi Mahatmya. Had glories to the Putrada Ekadashi. The Putrada Ekadashi, Posha Shukla Ekadashi. The pious and saintly Yudhishthira Maharaj said, "O Lord, you have nicely explained to us the wonderful glories of the Safala Ekadashi, which occurs during the dark fortnight, Krishna Paksha of the month of Posha, December, January. Now please be merciful to me and explain to me the details of the Ekadashi that occurs in the light fortnight called Shukla or Gaura Paksha of this month. What is the name and what deity to be worshipped on that sacred day? O Purushottama, O Rishikesha, please also tell me how you can be pleased on that day." Lord Sri Krishna then replied, "O saintly king, for the benefit of all humanity, I shall now tell you how to observe fasting on Pausha Shukla Ekadashi. Mataji, let me know where should I stop.
Yes, Mataji, you go on, I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you. As previously explained, everyone should observe the rules and regulation of the Ekadashi Brata to the very best of their ability. This injunction also applies to the Ekadashi named Putrada, which destroys all sins and elevates one to the spiritual abode.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Manjari Leela Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Narayana, the original personality, is the worshipable deity of the Ekadashi, and for his faithful devotees, he happily fulfills all desires and awards full perfection. Thus, among all the animate and inanimate beings in the three worlds, lower, middle, and higher planetary systems, there is no better personality than Lord Narayana. O King, now I shall narrate to you the history of Putrada Ekadashi, which removes all kinds of sins and makes one famous and learned. There was once a kingdom named Bhadravati, which was ruled by King Suketuman. His queen was the famous Shaipya. Because he had no son, he spent a long time in anxiety, thinking, if I have no son, who will carry on my dynasty? In this way, the king meditated in a religious attitude for a very long time, thinking, where should I go? What should I do? How can I get a pious son, Putra? In this way, King Suketuman could find no happiness anywhere in his kingdom, even in his own palace, and soon he was spending more and more time inside his wife's palace, gloomily thinking only of how he could get a son. Thus both King Suketuman and Queen Shaibya were in great distress. Should I hold here, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Even when they offered Tarpana oblations of water to her forefathers, their mutual miseries made them think that it was as undrinkable as boiling water. Thus they thought that they would have no descendants to offer Tarpana to them while the dead and thus become lost souls ghosts. The king and queen were especially upset to learn that their forefathers were worried that soon there would be no one to offer them Tarpana also. After learning of their forefather unhappiness, the king and queen became more and more miserable and neither ministers nor friends nor even loved ones could cheer them up. To the king, his elephants and horses and infantry were no solace, and at last he became practically inert and helpless. The king thought to himself, it is said that without a son, marriage is wasted. Indeed,
Thank you, Mataji. Balavrinda? Balavrinda?
Yes, Mataji. From where, Mataji?
Indeed, for a family. Indeed.
Okay. Indeed, for a family man with no son, both his heart and his splendid house remain vacant and miserable. Bereft of a son, a man cannot liquidate the debates that he owns his forefathers, the demigods, devas, and two other human beings. Therefore, every married man should endeavor to beget a son. Thus he will become famous within this world, and at last attain the auspicious celestial realms. A son is proof of the pious activities a man performed in his past 100 lifetimes, and such a person achieves a long duration of life in this world, along with good health and great wealth. Processing sons and grandsons in the lifetime proves that one has worshipped the Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the past. The great blessings of son, wealth, and sharp intelligence can be achieved only by worshipping the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That is my opinion. Thinking thus, the king had no peace. He remained in anxiety day and night, from morning to evening, and from the time he lay down to sleep at night until the sun rose in the morning. His dreams were equally full of great anxiety. Suffering such constant anxiety and aberration, King Sukswa decided to end his misery by committing suicide, but he realized that suicide throws a person into hellish conditions of rebirth. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Devotees, anyone who want to read can raise your hands. Till then, I can read few lines. Okay. But he realized that suicide throws a person into hellish conditions of rebirth, and so he abandoned that idea, saying that he was gradually destroying himself by his all consuming anxiety over the lack of a son. The king at last mounted his horse and left for the dense forest alone. No one, not even the priest and Brahmins of the palace, knew where he had gone. In that forest, which was filled with deer and birds and other animals, King Suket Man wandered aimlessly, noting all the different kinds of trees and shrubs such as the fig, bale fruit, date palm, jackfruit, bakula, saptaparana, tinduka, and tilaka, as well as the shala, tala, tamala, sharala, hingota, arjuna, labhera, baheda, salaki, karonda, patala, kaira, shaka, and palasha trees. Hare Krishna. I can see Nandapriya Narmada Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. All were beautifully decorated with fruits and flowers. He saw deers, tigers, wild boar, lions, monkeys, snakes, huge bull elephants in order, cow elephants with their calves, and four tusked elephants with their mates close by. There were cows, jackals, rabbits, leopards, and hippopotamuses. Beholding all these animals accompanied by their mates and offspring. The king remembered his own menagerie, especially his palace elephants, and became so sad that he absent-mindedly wandered into their very midst. Suddenly, the king heard a jackal howl in the distance. Startled, he began wandering about, looking around in all directions. Soon it was midday, and the king started to tire. He was tormented by hunger and thirst also. He thought, what sinful deed could possibly have done so that I am now forced to suffer like this? What my throat parched and burning, and my stomach empty and rumbling. I have pleased the Devas, demigods, with numerous fire sacrifices and abundant devotional worship. I have given many gifts and delicious sweets in charity to all the worthy Brahmins too. And I have taken care of my subjects as though they were my very own children. Why then am I suffering so? What unknown sins have come to bear fruit and torment me in this dreadful way?
Thank
Absorbed
you,
in these
Mataji.
thoughts,
Thank you, Parampapani Mataji. Anyone else who want to read, please raise your hands. Yes, Parampapani Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Absorbed in these thoughts, King Suketuman struggled forward and eventually, due to his pious credits, he came upon a beautiful lotus-bearing pond and that resembled the famous lake Manasarovar. It was filled with aquatics, including crocodiles and many varieties of fish, and graced with varieties of lilies and lotuses. The beautiful lotuses had opened to the sun, and swans, cranes, and ducks swam happily in its water. Nearby were many attractive ashramas where there resided many saints and sages who could fulfill the desires of anyone. Indeed, they wished everyone well. When the king saw all this, his right arm and right eye began to quiver, and a shakuna sign for a male that something auspicious about to happen. As the king demounted his horse and stood before the sages who sat on the shore of the pond, he saw that there were chanting holy names of God on japa beads.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Nandapriya Mataji, please go ahead. Nandapriya Mataji.
sorry, Mataji, I was reading on mute. Yeah, the king paid his obeisances and joining his palms addressed them with glorified praises. Observing the respect the king offered them, the sages said, we are very pleased with you. O king, kindly tell us why you have come here. What is on your mind? Please inform us what is your heart's desire. The king replied, O great sages, who are you? Why are your names? What are your names? Surely your presence reveals that you are auspicious saints. Why have you come to this beautiful place? Please tell me everything. The sages replied, O king, we are known as the 10 Vishwa Devas, the sons of Vishwa, Vasu, Satya, Kratu, Daksha, Kala, Kama, Dhriti, Pururava, Madhrava, and Kuru. We have come here to this very lovely pond to bathe. The month of Magha, Madhava Masa, will soon be here in 5 days. From the Magha Nakshatra, and today is the famous Putrada Ekadasi. One who desires a son should strictly observe this particular Ekadashi. This particular Ekadashi. The king said, I have tried so hard to have son. If you great sages are pleased with me, kindly grant the boon of having a good son, Putra. The very
Thank you,
name of
Mataji.
Putrada sage, the sages replied, is giver of a Putra by a son. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Vardhana Mataji.
Yeah. So please observe the complete fast on this Ekadasi day. If you do so, then by our blessings and by our blessing and by the mercy of Lord Sri Keshava invested in his, surely you will obtain a son. On the advice of Vaishnav Devas, the king observed the auspicious fast day of Putrada Ekadasi according to the established rules and regulation. And on the Dwadasi, after breaking his fast, he paid obeisances again and again to all of them. Soon after, Suketuman returned to his palace and united with his queen. Queen Shabya immediately became pregnant, and exactly as the Vishnudevas has predicted, a bright-faced, beautiful son was born to them. In due course of time, he became famous as an heroic prince, and the king gladly pleased his noble son by making him his successor. The son of Suketuman took care of his subject very conscientiously, just as if they were his own children. In conclusion, O Yudhishthira, one who wises to fulfill his desire should strictly observe Putrada Ekadasi.
Thank you, Mataji. Sundarangi Radha Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. While on this planet, one who strictly observes this Ekadasi will surely obtain a son, and after death he will achieve liberation. Anyone who even reads or hears the glories of Putrada Ekadasi obtains the merit earned by performing an horse sacrifice. It is to benefit all humanity that I have explained all this to you. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Pausa Sukla Ekadasi or Putrada Ekadasi from the Bhavishya Purana of Veda Vyasadeva. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for wonderfully reading the glories of Ekadashi, and it is in advance I'm reading. Thank you so much for helping me also to read it. And with all your permission, we can end the call here. A very happy Ekadashi once again to all of you. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpadrupasya kripa sindhu Vaishnava
Hare
Vaishnava